Is this you? I should be married with kids by now. I should have made director by now. I should not still be single at this age. I should have been a successful entrepreneur by now. Does that sound familiar? Listen, I get you. Today I want to be talking about whether your life expectations are stealing your happiness. And it's so important because it's good to have expectations, but what do you do when those expectations begin to steal your happiness? If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the bell because I post new videos on Sundays on how to overcome feelings of inadequacy so that you can develop self-confidence. Listen, if you're feeling that at this point in your life you should have achieved more than you have achieved, you're not alone. I feel it sometimes, and so many other people do that. I want to show you today how you can have expectations and be motivated and have high standards, but not let it rob you of your happiness. So if you're looking at this time of the year, or you're just looking at the year and you're thinking, my goodness, everything I should have achieved, I have not achieved. Or you are looking at this phase in your life and you're thinking, I should be farther off from where I am today. I mean, when I was younger, I looked at my life and I should have become more. If you're thinking about that, this is what you need to know. First, reality check those messages. I want you to think about it. Where have those expectations come from? Are they your expectations? So that is to say, are they things that you wrote down? So things you actually really want and you wrote down and you made a plan of how you want your life to turn out. Maybe from when you were in university or as a young adult, or maybe even from secondary school, you have this picture of how your life shall turn out. So I'm asking you, reality check those expectations. Where have they come from? And are they really realistic? Secondly, reality check those expectations. Are those expectations from your community, for example? So maybe your family, what you see your immediate environment reflecting. So maybe things your parents wanted you to achieve, things that your mom said would be a good idea to achieve, things that were put on you, expectations that are not quite yours, but somehow you have taken them on. And then the third is to check these expectations. Have they come from these, pardon my Nigerian pronunciation. So these expectations, have they come from your society? Have they come from things you see on social media? Have they come from things you see on the TV? Have they come from things you hear other people talk about and you think, you know what, I would like to have that too. I want to be like that and all of that. And so I want you to reality check where those messages have come from. I mean, I remember a lady who said to me that she began to have real marital problems because she was constantly comparing her marriage to what she saw on Facebook. And at one time she had to get real and say, no, this is not reality. Where has this come from? And she just shut down her Facebook account, right? Now, I want you to think about where your expectations for life have come from. Are they truly yours, what you really want? Or are they expectations that your family, your immediate environment expect of you? Or are they expectations that you've seen around yourself? So that's the first key. I want you to begin to think about, especially when you're thinking, my life has not gone the way I want. Well, where have those expectations come from? And so I'm going to share with you some action steps that you can actually also begin to take that can help you still have drive, still be motivated, but it not rob your happiness. Is all of this resonating? If it is, then hit that like button to let me know and let me hear you in the comments. And so the question then is, are expectations bad? Of course not. Like I said earlier, expectations are not bad. As a matter of fact, it's good to have expectations because it gives you drive, it gives you momentum, it motivates you, it gets you going, it gives you something to look forward to and aim for. So expectations are not bad at all. If anything, they're good. But the different is when those expectations now become like a hijacker and hijacking our happiness. So the first action step that you can begin to turn around that expectation for it to become something positive is to make a little tweak. And what do I mean by that? Instead of saying should, maybe change that to would like. At the beginning of this video, I started with a set of questions where I was saying, is this you? I should have been married by now with kids. I should be a successful entrepreneur. I should make director by now. What's that common denominator? Should. Should, 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 should. And when you put should, it becomes this hook on your neck that just constantly will not let you go. So instead of should, tweak that and say would like. Would like means that you still have expectations, you still have drive, you still want to go for it, but it's not the be all end all. That means to say if it doesn't happen, okay, you know what, we'll try again. So instead of saying I should become a director by now, you can say I would like to become a director by now, or I would like to become a director by so and so time. And so what that means is that even if by that time you set, maybe by 30, by 35, whatever it is your ambitious goals are, whatever it is that you set and you make it would like, it means when you get to 30 and you're not a director, it's not a deal breaker. It's more like, okay, I've not made director yet. Okay, I'll go for it. We can continue maybe by 35 or maybe by 33, So if anything, would like puts a positive touch on that motivation, on that expectation, so that when you get to that goal that you if you get to that point where you expect to have achieved that goal, if you have not, well, you know what? You can still continue. It still gives you the drive to continue and to move on. But if you put a should and by 30, you still have not made director or you're not a successful entrepreneur, most likely you will give up and most likely you will not want to continue. You'll be downcast. But when you put would like, it still gives you the motivation to keep going in spite of. Now, another action step I want you to take is to think about this. Change your focus. Change your focus from what you don't have versus what you have. Every time you keep focusing on what you don't have, you will constantly be in that mindset of lack, of scarcity. But when you change your focus from what you don't have to what you have, you will constantly see abundance. And so what that means is even when an area of your life you've not hit the goals that you want to hit, you won't be downcast because you know that there's so much else going on for you. One of the practices I do is that first thing in the morning, from when my alarm goes off before I get off the bed, is to focus my mind for the first few minutes. When my mind is still hazy and sleepy and I'm not quite sure where I am, I focus my mind on gratitude and on abundance. That is to say, for those first few minutes, I begin to just think, thank you, Jesus, that today I am healthy and that my legs can move. Thank you, Jesus, that I can walk myself to the bathroom, that I have a bed to lie on, that I have heating in my house, that I have a roof over my head. Thank you that I have food on my table. Some things that we consider basic, so to say, I spend a few minutes to focus my attention. Thank you, Lord, that I have income. And so what that does for me is that it constantly creates this sense of abundance. I always feel like I have more than enough. And even though there are areas of my life that are not going as planned and there are things that I expect that have not happened, I'm not in the state of slump and depression and sadness or dejection because I have not achieved certain things, because I know that I've got abundance. I know that I've got so much to be grateful for. What's the difference? It's because I changed my focus. I changed it from seeing what I don't have to what I have all around me. And even if it's things as little as heating in my house, things as little as a jacket to wear, clothes on my body, a roof over my head, for me that's abundance. So start changing your focus, because if you're constantly focusing on what you don't have, you're going to constantly see lack. And so you will just constantly be at this point in your mindset where you're constantly thinking, you know what, things are not working out, I'm not succeeding, I'm not moving. But that's not quite true. It's about what you're focusing on. And the third I want you to remember, the third action step is this: Don't let it define you. Don't be defined by whatever that it is. So whether it's a goal that you want to achieve, whether you've set yourself timelines, whether you're looking at this phase of your life or you're looking at this time of the year and you're thinking, ugh, you know what, I've not achieved so, and so. Don't be defined by whatever that it is. That's because there's so much more to you than that goal. There's so much more to you than making partner, than becoming a director, than being married and having kids. Now, granted, I'm not saying those things are not good. I'm not saying that you shouldn't aspire for those. Please, by all means, go for it. If you know anything about me, you know that I am very big on going for your dreams and being bold and ambitious and just going for it. So those things are great, but don't let them define you, because the moment those goals define you, you become a prisoner to those goals. And it means that against everything, even positive things, you will be going for that goal even when maybe it's not the best or it's not the healthiest option, or you may just be going for it, and if it doesn't happen, now you're sad, now you're dejected, now you're feeling anxious. So don't be defined by whatever that goal is. Know that there's so much more to your life than that goal. There's so much more that life has to offer you. Keep going for the goal. Keep aiming for it. If you didn't make it, okay, well, you know what? We are just going to regroup and I'm going to try again and I'll just keep going. But when you see that there's so much more to your life than that goal, it will help you keep going even when you've not achieved this goal. And it will not be a dictator of your happiness, because there are so many other things that bring you joy and happiness besides achieving that goal. Speaking about goals, I want to invite you to join me as we begin to prepare to end the year and start the new year for my Audacious Confidence Coaching. All the information is in the description box below. I want to help you start the year strong, and I want to help you get clarity and confidence so that you can start the new year great. Now, I hope these steps helped you and these action steps helped you. I want to hear your words of wisdom. What will you add to this list of mine? What else can we begin to do so that our happiness is always paramount, irrespective of what does not happen? Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit that bell so you'll be notified every Sunday whenever I post a new video. And of course, I want to hear you in the comments. And if this video helped you, please share it, give it a thumbs up, and I am going to see you next week. Until I do so, check out these videos, and I will see you next week. Have a great one. Take care.